I am Kevin M. Yates, the L&D detective, and I am coming to you live from Chicago, Illinois, in the U.S., where the time is 7:41 a.m. It's 7:41 a.m. in the morning, and I always tell people that you're going to get the best out of me at the first part of the day, and so I am so happy to be joining you today at the beginning of my day. I believe it is evening time where a lot of you are joining from. Some of you may be joining where it's evening time, afternoon time, and there may be some others who are joining, at the same time as I am here in the US. So for wherever you are in the world, I want you to know that I am happy to be here. I'm excited to be here, and I am looking forward to sharing with you how I investigate the impact of training and learning as the L&D detective. I also want to share with you that we're going to have some very interactive elements in the work that we do today. So you're going to need your mobile device. So make sure you have it handy. If you don't have your mobile device handy, that's okay. We have a workaround. But if you have your mobile device, make sure that you have it near you. So what you're going to do today is assist me in solving a measurement mystery. And the mystery we're going to solve together is, did training and learning measurably impact workplace performance? So you're going to work alongside me, and we're going to take a look at how we can measure the impact of training and learning with facts, clues, evidence, and data. I hope that you're ready, because I am. Here we go. So again, I shared with you that I am known in the industry as the L&D detective, and this is just a little bit about my background. This shares with you some of the companies where I have worked. I most recently worked with Meta, otherwise known as Facebook, where I served as measurement principal. And you can also see some of the other global brands that I have worked for there as well. And you'll also see where I have served in a lot of roles, a lot of different types of roles, including program management, instructional design, facilitation, onboarding. I've done a lot in training, learning, and talent development. I've been in training, learning, and talent development now for nearly 30 years. I know I don't look like it, but yes, I have been in training, learning, and talent development for quite a while. I am fortunate to have worked with some incredible brands, and I am very fortunate to have served in many different kinds of roles. And so my background and my experience informs the work that I do as the L&D detective. So let's dive right in. I have a question for you, and Anjali, this is where I'm going to need your help. So my question to you: how do you define impact for training and learning? Use the chat feature to let us know how you define impact for training and learning. So again, guys, use the chat. We're happy to hear your thoughts and ideas about how you define impact. I'm curious to know how you define impact. And so, Anjali, I'm going to ask you to come off mute and let me know if there are people who are adding their thoughts and ideas for how they define impact to the chat. Are you there, Anjali? You may still be on mute.
Yes, Kevin, this is Setole here. I will answer on behalf of Anjali here.
All right.
We actually have a very good comment here by Preeti, who is saying that how much it aligns with the business problem we are trying to solve. So that's the first comment we have here.
Anything else? Anyone else sharing how they define impact?
Yes, there is another one by Yulia saying that change in the performance behavior.
Performance behavior. Awesome. What else do we have?
Another by Satya Prakash, improving
Improving
knowledge.
knowledge. All
Yes,
right.
and another
Ellie.
Disha, who is saying improved confidence.
Improve confidence. Wonderful. Do we have any other responses for how people are defining impact?
Yes, there is a lot coming up. So there is Diane saying performance or KPI improvement.
Okay. And maybe let's read three or four more and then we'll keep going.
Yes, so another one says resulted in overall incomes.
Yep.
Sorry, resulted in overall outcomes, not incomes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, another one says allows us to have different perspectives.
Allows us to have different perspectives. How about one more?
Okay, anyone more? Yes, saying moving from no projects allotted versus clearing client interviews and being placed in projects.
Wonderful. Thanks to everyone who shared how you define impact, the definition of impact, and I am going to share it with you. Here is how I define impact. I define impact as training and learning's contribution to workplace performance. I want to say that again. Here's how I define impact. I define impact as training and learning's contribution to workplace performance. And so when I am investigating impact, I am investigating how training and learning is contributing to human performance and business performance. And so when I am looking for facts, clues, evidence, and data that reveals the impact of training and learning, I am collecting those facts and the clues, the evidence, and the data that shows how training and learning is measurably contributing to workplace performance. Now, I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking to you about what I mean when I say contribution. So here's what we know to be true. There are multiple contributors to human performance. There are multiple influences that will activate human performance. Training and learning cannot do it on its own. I want to say that again. Training and learning is not the only thing that will contribute to human performance. Training and learning and training and development is one of the things that will contribute to human performance, but it is not the only thing. And so, what you see here are some examples of the different types of contributions or contributors to human performance. So, workplace culture contributes to human performance. Manager coaching and support, that contributes to human performance. Natural ability, what people are naturally good at, that contributes to human performance. And as I said earlier, training and development, that is a contributor to human performance as well. Compensation, dollars, money, we like to get paid. And so that contributes to human performance as well. Tools and technology, the different types of performance support that we have, that will contribute to human performance as well. Rewards and recognition, being acknowledged for the work that we do, that contributes to human performance. And our workload, how much work do we have on our plate? How much work do we have to do? That all contributes to human performance. So when I talk about contribution to workplace performance, I am talking about all that there is that has the potential and the power to contribute to workplace performance, including but not limited to training and development. Similarly, when we talk about contributions to business performance, there are multiple teams in the business that are contributing to human performance, or rather to business performance. And what you see here is an example of the different types of teams in businesses and organizations that may be contributing to business performance. You'll see here where L&D is one of the teams, just one of the teams that contributes to business performance, but there are other contributors as well. It takes a village. That's what I like to say. It takes a village to achieve business goals. And so while L&D is one of the teams that can contribute to business performance, it is not the only team. So when I am measuring the impact of training and learning, I am measuring training and learning's contribution because again, training and learning cannot do it on its own. And so, as we think about these different performance contributors, it makes up what I like to call the performance ecosystem. And in the performance ecosystem, we have that swirl of things that we just talked about in terms of the different teams that are contributing to business performance and the different types of influences that contribute to human performance. Training and development, learning and development are part of the ecosystem that is driving performance. But training and development as an experience and L&D as a function cannot do it alone. It takes a village. And so we are part of the performance ecosystem. We are not the only thing that can contribute to and influence business performance. And so when I am investigating impact, I have to keep that in mind. Now, I want to share with you a definition that I have for workplace performance. We talked about human performance and all that there is that contributes to it. We talked about business performance and the different teams that are contributing to business goals. So, my calculation, my formula for workplace performance is human performance plus business performance equals workplace performance. And I am focused on that because as the L&D detective, the work that I do is focused on investigating training and learning's contribution to workplace performance. Again, because training and learning cannot do it on its own. So I am investigating and measuring training and learning's contribution to workplace performance. Here is what I believe makes measurement successful. When we're measuring the impact of training and learning, there are four elements that I believe will make our efforts for measuring impact successful. The first thing is that we must conduct a performance needs analysis. If we're going to impact performance, then we need to conduct a performance needs analysis. We need to define impact before we try to measure it. If we don't know what we're trying to measure, it's going to be very difficult to evaluate. It's going to be very difficult to investigate. So we need to define impact before we try to measure it. The third thing that will make measurement successful is when we have a metric that we can use as a signal for the impact of training and learning. So we might have a measure or a key performance indicator, a KPI, that we're going to hang our hat on and use that as the signal for the impact of training and learning. And then the fourth thing that I believe makes measurement successful is when we have alignment and agreement with our business partners and stakeholders for what impact looks like when it shows up real time, day to day on the job. So we're going to be focused on these four elements today as we solve a measurement mystery. There's an important idea here that I want to share with you. If we don't plan for impact in the beginning, it's going to be very difficult to measure in the end. And so today we're going to spend the most of our time taking a look at how we plan for impact so that we are then in better position to be able to measure impact. A lot of organizations fail because they don't take the time to plan for impact. So what we're going to do today is roll up our sleeves and take a look at how we plan for impact so that we can do a better job at measuring it. And we're going to do that by taking a look at a case study. I'm going to introduce to you a case study. We're going to be using this case study to solve a measurement mystery. We're going to be introduced to a few characters. We're going to be introduced to a few scenarios, and it will all help us solve a measurement mystery. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to our case study.
Mobile for Earth is a global mobile phone company. They manufacture mobile phones and provide voice and data services. With 10 million customers worldwide, they have a reputation for innovative mobile technology, affordable voice and data plans, wide-reaching service areas, and award-winning customer service. Mobile for Earth is excited about the release of its new AI-powered mobile phone, the M4 E300. With advancements in artificial intelligence, the M4 E300 transforms the experience customers have with their phones. Pre-orders indicate customers' interest in purchasing the new phone. Prior to launching the new phone, Mobile for Earth wants to ensure customer service representatives meet performance expectations for supporting the new phone. They experienced significant drops in metrics that measure customer service with the release of their last new phone. They do not want the same to happen with the release of the M4 E300. Carlos Rivera leads the products and innovation team and submitted a request for training customer service representatives as part of readiness for release of the new phone. He submitted his request via the L&D team's new performance needs analysis. Nepal Arun is a learning and performance consultant with the L&D team and is reviewing Carlos' request for training via the performance needs analysis form.
All right, so here's what we know. We know that Nepal is an L&D consultant. And we know that Carlos works in the business as an executive, and he submitted a training request. And via the training request, he is completing a performance needs analysis that accompanies his request. So let's take a look at the performance needs analysis form that Carlos, the business executive, completed for his training request. Here's where I'll need you to pull out your mobile device, open your camera, and scan the QR code. it will take you to the performance needs analysis form that Carlos completed in response to his training request. So take out your phone, scan the QR code. It'll take you to the performance needs analysis form that Carlos completed. If you don't have your mobile device, that's okay. You can go to the website that is listed below the QR code. So you can type into your computer in your browser, go to kevinmyates.com/PNA1, and that will take you to the performance needs analysis form. So again, let's be taking a look at the performance needs analysis. You can scan the QR code with the camera on your phone, or you can go directly to the website that will show you the performance needs analysis form that Carlos completed. If you go to kevinmyates.com/PNA1. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to take a look at that performance needs analysis form. And Anjali, I want to make sure that you're able to see the performance needs analysis using the QR code or the web address. Anjali, could you just come off
Yes,
mute?
yes, yes.
All
I'm
right.
able to see, and I guess everyone is like scanning the QR code and giving their views there.
Very
Also,
good.
we have one question from Miss Julie, like how do you measure the behavior change?
How do you, we're going to talk about that. Stay
Yes.
tuned. All of that is coming. All of that is coming. Yep. All right. I
Yes,
just wanted to make sure that everyone can access the code. So again,
yes.
we're going to give people a few minutes. So remember, guys, what you're taking a look at is the performance needs analysis form that Carlos submitted in response to his trainer request. So I'm going to ask you to just maybe take another minute or two and keep on looking through that performance needs analysis form. I want to make sure that everyone is scanning it and looking at it and seeing it. All right, hopefully everyone is able to see that performance needs analysis form that Carlos submitted. You'll see in that form that Carlos submitted that there is some information that is missing. Nepal, the L&D consultant, needs more information because a lot of the information that Nepal needs to complete the performance needs analysis is missing. So since all the information is not there from Carlos, Nepal requested a meeting with Carlos to get the answers to the questions that he does not have. So let's take a listen and a look at the conversation between Nepal, the L&D consultant, and Carlos, the business executive, where Nepal is trying to fill in the gaps for the information that's missing. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen.
Hello, Carlos. Good to see you again. Thank you for submitting the performance needs analysis for your training request. We have a few clarifying questions and want to ensure we have all the information we need to make the best possible recommendation.
Good to see you again too, Nepal. I really like the new training request form you guys are using, but there were some questions I wasn't sure about. I didn't see any questions about training in the new form you guys are using. Are we going to talk about what kind of training we need?
Thanks for your feedback on our new performance needs analysis. It helps us ensure we make the best possible recommendation when we get requests for training. We won't talk about training today, but we will talk about business goals, performance requirements that help achieve those goals, and
Well, we already know what we need. We need a half-day training program with some role play to help our customer service representatives get ready for a new phone we're launching. And we want some tests to be part of the training too. I thought we were going to talk about my training request.
my goal for our discussion today is getting clear about business goals, performance requirements that help achieve those goals, and a few other questions about performance. We are taking a performance first approach with training requests, and we want to ensure we are making the best possible recommendation when training and learning is the right solution. We also want to ensure we're planning in advance for how we'll measure success. The new performance needs analysis helps us do that.
Okay, I really want to talk about the training we need, but I get where you're headed, so what do you need to know?
I appreciate you being flexible. Let's start with business goals. I saw in the performance needs analysis where you indicated you want a half-day training program with tests. Talk to me about what prompted your training request.
We're launching a new mobile phone powered by artificial intelligence, and we want to ensure our customer service experience scores don't take a hit when customer service representatives get support calls. The last time we launched a new phone, our customer service experience metrics took a big hit because we weren't ready. We can't let that happen again. We're the industry leader in customer care, and we want to maintain our reputation.
You say the business goal is maintaining and sustaining our customer service metrics?
Yes, that's exactly it. That's the business goal.
And what about performance requirements that help achieve the business goal?
What do you mean?
Can you describe the skills, behaviors, and capability that's needed to maintain our customer service experience scores?
I'm not sure I can answer that question, but I can put you in touch with someone who can. Our HR rep, Theodore, can probably help. I'll send Theodore an email and copy you.
Sounds good. Let's talk about the collective effort to achieve the business goal. Training may be one of the things we do to support the business goal, but what other teams are supporting the business goal, or what other work is being done?
Good question. There are other teams doing work in preparation for the launch of our new phone. The technology team is implementing a new knowledge system for customer service reps. The benefits team is exploring incentives for customer service reps who meet or exceed performance expectations, and customer service managers are getting training on how to use the new phone. I can connect you with the leaders for these projects.
This is very helpful. I have just a few more questions that will help us make the best possible recommendation for your training request.
All right. So what we just saw is a conversation between Nepal, the L&D consultant, and Carlos, the business executive. I hope that you saw in that conversation where Nepal was asking Carlos the questions, the same questions that were in that performance needs analysis form. He was working to fill in the gap. I hope you also saw where in that conversation there was a shift in thinking where Nepal was really trying to have a performance based discussion and Carlos was more focused on training. Nepal is focused on discovering and uncovering the performance needs so that he can make the best possible solution. What Nepal is doing right now is the planning up front for impact so that when it comes time to measure impact, it will be easier to measure in the end. You also saw where there were some questions that Nepal had that Carlos could not answer. And so, what Carlos committed to doing is following up with the HR representative, Theodore, who has hopefully the answers to the questions that he could not answer. So, what we're going to do next is take a look at the email that Carlos sent to Theodore to get the answers to the questions about performance that he cannot answer himself. So what I'm going to ask you to do, pull out your mobile device and scan the QR code, and you'll see the email that Carlos sent to Theodore to get the answers. He also copied Nepal on that email. If you aren't able to scan with your mobile device, you can go to the website that's listed here on the screen, kevinmyates.com/V2 email one. If you go to that website, you'll see a copy of the email. If you scan the QR code, you'll get a copy of the email. So I'm going to give you, a couple of minutes here just to scan through that email. And I just want to do a quick check-in again. Anjali, are you able to see the email with your
Yes,
mobile device? Awesome.
yes,
Just wanted to do a
yes.
quick check-in and make sure. So we'll give
Yeah.
everybody a minute or two to take a look at that email. And then I have a question for you, audience. So get ready to use the chat. I'll give you another minute to read through that email.
Yes, I can see many people are able to see the form as well.
Very good, very good. So
Yeah.
we'll give everybody maybe another minute or two. And then I
Yes.
have a question for you, audience.
Yeah.
All right. If you're still reading through the email, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Keep reading. Keep reading until you get to the end because there's some important information there. And what, again, just to give you a reminder, you are assisting me in solving a measurement mystery. You're my assistant today. So that's why you are helping me collect all these facts and the clues, the evidence, and the data. So here's my question to you. Use the chat to answer the question. What did you discover in that email? The question to you is, what did you discover in that email? Use the chat to indicate your answer. So again, the question is, what did you discover in that email? Use the chat to indicate your answer. There's some important information in that email. And so I'm going to make sure that you see that information. And I also want to ask that you share with us using the chat what you discovered in that email from Carlos to Theodore. Anjali, what are some people saying in the chat about what they discovered?
Yes, what to be measured as a success, miss, after the training program? They have discovered the job description there and they have seen the form. They have also seen the performance criteria or acceptations, I guess, from the cust reputation. Yes.
Stop right there. I want to stop right there because that is the important information in the email.
Yeah.
Remember that as the L&D detective, I am investigating training and learning's contribution to workplace performance. So we need to know what the performance expectations are. So what Theodore was able to do in that email is identify what the performance expectations are for customer service representatives. So we have a description for what the expectations are, and we also know the ways in which expectations or performance is measured. So all of that is in the email, and that's important. So what we want to do is continue on our investigation journey. We're going to take a look at another conversation via video. So get ready, take a listen, and take a look. We're still on our investigative journey of collecting facts, clues, evidence, and data to measure the impact of training and learning. So we're going to take a look now at a conversation between Theodore, who is the HR representative, Nepal, who is the L&D consultant, and Emily, who owns the performance metrics. So let's take a look and a listen at this conversation.
Thank you guys for joining this discussion. We're working on a performance needs analysis for a request we received from Carlos Rivera for training customer service representatives. The products and innovation team is releasing a new AI-powered phone, and he wants to ensure customer service representatives are ready.
I'm happy to help where I can, Nepal. Just want to let you know I have a hard stop in 30 minutes.
Okay, I'll dive right in. Theodore sent me the performance expectations for customer service reps, and I'm trying to connect the dots between how we measure customer service and performance expectations for customer service reps.
I recommended we include you in the discussion, Emma, because your team owns the metrics for customer service.
Got it. So, how can I help?
Do you know who monitors our customer service metrics?
Actually, that would be me.
Perfect.
Do you want me to share my screen? I can show you our customer service metrics dashboard. We keep track of 3 metrics that measure customer service: first call resolution, customer call time, and customer care and tone.
Is there a target score for these metrics?
Yes, the target score for customer service metrics is 90% favorability.
Is it safe to say the performance expectations for customer service reps impact the metrics for customer service?
Yes, there is a connection between the two. Customer service reps' performance impacts our customer service measures.
Got it. Can we get access to those metrics, Emma?
I think so, but I'm curious. Didn't we just build some dashboards for you guys that show your LMS data and survey results? What are you trying to measure? Why do you need access to the customer service dashboard?
The dashboards you guys built are very helpful. The LMS dashboard shows us how many people completed training, hours of training completed, consumption and utilization. And the dashboard for survey results shows us the sentiment and opinion employees have about their experience with our training programs and learning solutions. We want to measure training, and learning's contribution to customer service representatives' performance and the LMS dashboard and survey results don't show us that. We want to use actual metrics for customer service because they give us the strongest signal for impact.
Got it. That makes sense. I have some ideas about how to get you access to the customer service dashboard. I'll follow up with you in a couple days.
So here's what we discovered in that conversation. And remember, guys, you're assisting me in solving a measurement mystery, so we have to keep track of all that we're learning and all that we're discovering. So what we know is that Theodore was able to provide the performance expectations for customer service representatives. And what we also discovered as part of the conversation that we just saw is that customer service performance impacts the customer service expectations ratings, right? So we know that the way in which customer service representatives are performing impacts the business performance metrics for customer service. So the training that we want to create should be targeted to customer service representative performance so that they can impact the business performance metrics for customer service. Emily, who is the metrics owner, asked the question, didn't I build some dashboards for your LMS data and your survey data? And she did, but Nepal let her know that those are not the types of metrics that give us insight into performance. Our LMS data does not give insight into people performance, and learning surveys does not give insight into people performance. But the business performance metrics that show how the business is working with customer service gives insight into how people are helping customers solve problems. And that's what we want to impact. Now we're going to take a look at another conversation. Jessica is the customer service representative manager. She found out that Nepal is working on a training request from Carlos. So she had some questions about the training that Nepal is working on because she is the customer service representative manager. So she's curious about what Nepal is working on. So let's take a look and a listen at the conversation between Jessica and Nepal. And remember, Jessica is the customer service representative manager.
Carlos told me about the training program you guys are working on to get our customer service reps ready for release of the new AI-powered phone. When will the training be ready?
We're still exploring what the best solution is and haven't made any decisions about timing yet. I can copy you when we send our recommendation to Carlos.
Okay, I'll be on the lookout for that. I'm curious about whether or not we can isolate the impact of training. Our reps take a lot of training and we don't always know the difference training makes. Is there a way to isolate the impact?
We could potentially do a test and control group analysis. Are you familiar with test and control groups?
Not really.
So a test and control group analysis would be where you have two groups of customer service representatives. With all else being equal between the two groups, the only difference is the test group gets training while the control group does not.
Why would only one group get training?
We would compare differences between the two groups. We would want to see if there are any differences in performance between the group that gets training, the test group, and the group that does not, the control group.
I don't think that'll work for this project. Release of the new phone is a global launch, which means all our customer service reps need to be trained and ready at the same time when customers call for help with using the new phone.
We get the strongest, most credible and reliable signal for the unique contribution of training and learning with test and control groups, but with the need you have for ensuring all your customer service reps are trained at the same time and ready for the new phone when it launches. I can see how test and control groups is not an option.
Is there anything else we can do to isolate the impact of training?
Let me think about that and get back to you.
It's what we know. We know that test and control groups is the most credible, reliable way in which to get a signal for the isolated impact of training and learning. When you have a test and control group, you can compare the one group that got training to the group that did not get training, you can compare and contrast the differences between the two and get an idea about how training and learning measurably impacted human performance in an isolated kind of way. So there are times where there is an opportunity to isolate the impact using test and control groups, and there are times where it's not possible to do that. And Jessica, the customer service representative managers, gave a good example of a time where it's not possible, because when you do isolation and use test and control groups, there's one group that gets training, there's another group that does not, and that then kind of slows down the time for everyone to get trained. Well, in this instance, with what this business is trying to do, everyone needs to get trained at the same time as quickly as possible. So there are times where isolating the impact of training and learning makes sense and it's possible, and then there may be some other times where it is not, using a test and control group. So now let's fast forward. So again, we're conducting an impact investigation, collecting facts, clues, evidence, and data, getting a lot of information. We're planning for impact at the beginning so that it's easier to measure in the end. So we're going to fast forward to where Nepal was able to get all the information he needs for his performance needs analysis form. So what you're going to take a look at now is a completed performance needs analysis form. And I'm so excited for you to see this, because now Nepal has all the information he needs to make a recommendation back to Carlos about the best way forward. So again, take out your mobile device, open your phone, scan the QR code, and you'll see what the completed performance needs analysis form looks like. And if you aren't able to scan using the QR code, you can go to the website listed here on the screen, kevinmyates.com/PNA2. And you're going to be able to take a look at the completed performance needs analysis form. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to take a look at that, and then I'm going to come back to you with a question. So take another minute or two. And Anjali, I just want to check in with you and make sure that you're able to pull up the completed performance needs analysis form. So Anjali, if you'll just come off mute,
Yes.
and you're able to pull up
Yes.
the form.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
very good, very good. All right, so everyone just take a couple of minutes to go through that form. And again, what you're seeing now is all the information that Nepal was able to gather and collect in response to the training. Hopefully you're seeing what a thorough and good job Nepal did at collecting all the facts, the clues, the evidence, and the data that will inform decisions for training and learning that has potential and power to measurably impact performance. There's a lot of information there. Hopefully you're seeing how that information is helpful, very clear, very concise. Now Nepal has all the information he needs.
Yes, I
You'll
guess.
also, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, Miss Roy, I guess she's finding it interesting. There is no gap in performance. However, training is needed to maintain the current indicators that's mentioned in the form.
Good point, Anjali. And who was that again?
Miss Paramita Roy.
That's a great point. And hopefully you're seeing here where, sometimes we're very focused on changing behavior or changing performance. And training and learning is a good solution for changing behavior and performance. But there are times, as in this one, where we want to maintain performance. So we aren't necessarily looking to change anything, but we want to maintain our customer service business performance metrics. We want to make sure that they don't rather drop. And so that will be the focus, right? So, quick question. What are some of your observations about results for the performance needs analysis form that you're looking at right now? So use the chat and indicate what are some of your observations about the performance needs analysis form that Nepal completed. Again, use the chat to let us know, what is your reaction? What is your response? What are you thinking as you take a look at the completed performance needs analysis form that Nepal is sharing with you? All right, Anjali, let's take maybe 3 or 4 responses and reactions. What are people saying, Anjali?
Yes, so we'll just wait for one more minute. So I'll get
Sure.
some views on the chat box. As soon
Yeah,
as I
yeah,
get
well,
some reviews, I'll just do it. Yes, we got
sure.
one from Miss Preeti. So she's finding comprehensive data that helps us define impact post the training. It's a
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else we got? What are
We
you
got
saying?
clear measuring criteria. So from Miss
Absolutely.
Roy.
Yes, clear measuring criteria. We need to know that up front because you
Correct.
remember I said earlier that we need to define impact before we try to measure it. So we're getting all that information here. Maybe read one more, Anjali.
Yes, yes, I'm waiting for everyone to just make this point.
Yep. Does
Yeah.
anyone else have an observation you'd like to share? If so, use the chat.
Yes.
And if nothing comes through, Anjali, that's okay. No worries. We can keep moving. Anything come
Okay.
through?
Not yet. As
Okay.
yes, we can move
Well,
forward. No problem.
yes, we'll keep moving. Okay,
Yes.
so now you have the performance needs analysis results from Nepal. Nepal is now able to make a recommendation to Carlos for the training or learning that he believes will help meet the business need. So let's take a look at the email that Nepal sent to Carlos with his recommendations based on the performance needs analysis. So again, pull out your phone, scan the QR code, or you can go to the website to take a look at that email that Nepal sent to Carlos. And the web address, if you want to use that, is kevinmyates.com/B2 email to. So what you're going to take a look at now is the email that Nepal sent to Carlos with his recommendation based on what he discovered from the performance needs analysis. So take a couple of minutes to look at the email that Nepal sent to Carlos. Anjali, I just want to do a quick check-in. Are you able to see the email from
Yes.
Nepal to
Yes.
Carlos? Very good, very good.
Yes.
Just wanted
Yes.
to do a quick check-in. Yep.
Yeah. Yes, I guess people are also watching the email as well.
Very good, very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And again, guys, we're collecting the facts, the clues, the evidence, and the data to help us solve measurement mysteries. And what you're taking a look at now is the email that Nepal sent to Carlos with his recommendations. And I just want to call out some important things here as you're taking a look at that email, because there's some very important facts, clues, evidence, and data in that email. The first thing that I believe is very important that Nepal did a good job at is identifying the business goal. We need to identify the business goal so that we can stay aligned and connected to that. So Nepal identified the business goal up front in that email. The other thing that Nepal did was identify the metrics or the key performance indicators that we're going to use to get a signal for impact. The other thing that Nepal did that is important is identify the performance expectations. So that's clear to everyone for what we're going to target when we create a training or a learning solution. I also like that Nepal identified all the contributors. Remember, we talked earlier about my work being investigating training and learners' contribution, which means that there are other contributors. And so in that email, Nepal identified all the contributors to the business goal, all the contributors to human performance, all the contributors to business performance. And he also identified the timing for what we're going to measure, when we're going to measure, and how we're going to measure. And so all of that's important. I want you to take a look at our last document for today. And that last document is what I call an impact-based design document. So now that we have all the information from the performance needs analysis form, we want to make sure that our instructional design methodology is aligned to what the business needs. And we can align our training and learning solutions to what the business needs if we use the results from the performance needs analysis to inform decisions for instructional design. So if you pull up the instructional design document using the QR code here, or you can go directly to the website. The website is listed below the QR code. You're going to see an impact-based design document. And in that impact-based design document, make note of where you see those same 9 questions that Nepal asked Carlos at the beginning with the performance needs analysis form. And so as you're taking a look at this impact-based design document, make note of the idea that when we talk about training and L&D needing to be aligned with the business, this is what alignment looks like. When we plan our instructional design for intended outcomes and do it in a way where we are aligning our methodology with business needs and business goals, this is what that looks like. And so that's why this document is important. It is an example of impact-based design methodology. And when we have an impact-based design methodology, we are in better position to measurably impact workplace performance. So now we're going to fast forward and we're going to get to the fun part. And the fun part is when we are looking at the data, right? So let's fast forward to the launch of the phone after training has taken place. So again, we're going to fast forward to the launch of the new phone to where training has already happened, where training has already taken place. So we know the business goal is 90% favorability for 3 KPIs. The KPIs are first call resolution, customer call time, customer care, and tone. Those are the business metrics that we want to impact with our contribution from training and learning. So we know 1 week prior to launch, again, the goal is 90%. So 1 week prior to launch, we were above goal for customer call time at 91%, but we were below goal for first call resolution at 89% and for customer care and tone at 88%. So let's take a look at 1 week after the launch. 1 week after the launch, we can see where there was a dip for first call resolution, and that's to be expected because there was a new phone and people are still getting used to being able to support it. There was a dip in customer call time, which is the amount of time that customers are holding for support. But there was an increase in customer care and tone to 92%, from 88% to 92%. So again, keep in mind that training and learning is a contribution to business performance metrics. It is not the only thing, but what we can see here is that we did a good job at increasing the customer performance metric for customer care and tone, but we took a dip with the others. So now let's take a look at 2 weeks after the training. Wow, and after the launch. We can see that there is a positive trend in the right direction toward 90% favorability, which is the goal, for first call resolution, customer call time, and customer care and tone. Now, you may be asking, Kevin, how would you articulate this to senior leaders and executives, and most important to Carlos, who made the request for training? So we know that training and learning and L&D is a contributor to workplace performance and business performance. It is not the only thing, it's a contributor. So I would describe results and outcomes as training and learning in combination with other contributors is adding to a positive trend in the right direction toward 90% favorability for first call resolution, customer call time, and customer care and tone. I cannot say that training and learning did it on its own, but I can say that in combination with other contributors, training and learning is adding to the positive trend toward 90% favorability for customer service experience metrics. And so that's how I would describe this. We're getting close to the end, but before I finish and take your questions, I want to state this again. If you do not plan for impact in the beginning, it will be difficult to measure in the end. We have spent the bulk of our time today taking a look at how you plan for impact in the beginning so that it's easier to measure in the end. If we don't get that part right, if we don't get planning right, impact is going to be difficult to measure. I also want to share with you that impact is training and learning's contribution to workplace performance. That's how I define impact, and that is how I investigate impact. If you like a free copy of the L&D Detective Kit, which covers everything that we talked about today, and it's free, you can get the L&D Detective Kit and impact templates on my website at kevinmyates.com. It will help you do everything that we did today. It will show you how we did what we did today. And the free templates will help you put into action and practice what we talked about in your business today.